There is something truly timeless about the way stories of love, success, heartbreak, and redemption weave together in the world of fame and music. And when we talk about those unforgettable names that define a generation, Justin Bieber and Selena Gomez always come to mind because their journey, both together and apart, has left millions of fans around the globe fascinated, touched, and inspired. And even today, whispers and headlines continue to suggest that maybe, just maybe, Justin never really let go of Selena, and that somewhere in the whirlwind of his life with Hailey Bieber, there are echoes of a love story that shaped him forever. But before we get into the emotions and insider claims that swirl around them, let's rewind to where it all began, because the story of Justin Bieber is one of those rare tales that feels straight out of a dream. A small-town boy from Stratford, Ontario, born with a voice so pure and soulful that the world couldn't help but listen when he first appeared on YouTube all those years ago. A teenager holding a guitar, singing with a spark in his eyes that said he was meant for something big, discovered by Scooter Braun, and mentored by the legendary Usher Justin, went from busking on the streets to performing on stages packed with screaming fans from every corner of the world. His debut single, One Time, already hinted at what was coming next. And soon, Baby became an anthem that defined an era, breaking records and turning him into the youngest global superstar since Michael Jackson. But with fame came pressure, scrutiny, and a life under constant spotlight. And that's when Selena Gomez entered the picture, adding another layer of magic to his already meteoric rise. Selena herself was no stranger to the spotlight. Born in Grand Prairie, Texas, she had been working hard since childhood, starring in Barney and Friends before becoming Disney Channel royalty through Wizards of Waverly Place. She had the charm, the smile, and the grounded spirit that made millions of young fans look up to her, not just as an actress, but as a role model. When Justin and Selena first crossed paths, it felt like a modern fairy tale. The sweet boy with the golden voice and the girl with a heart of gold, finding love in each other amidst the chaos of fame. And as they walked red carpets hand in hand, the world couldn't stop talking about them. Jelena, as fans lovingly called them, became a symbol of young love and hope. Their chemistry was undeniable. Their bond seemed deep and real. But the reality behind the cameras was far more complex, because fame magnifies everything, both the good and the hard times. And soon both of them found themselves trying to balance the weight of their careers with the emotions of their hearts. Yet even through the ups and downs, their love never seemed to fade completely. It evolved, changed, sometimes hurt, but always lingered in the air like a melody you just can't forget. And as the years passed, their story took new turns. Justin faced personal battles, growing pains, and moments of self-discovery, while Selena went through her own journey of healing and empowerment, finding strength through music, health challenges, and self-reflection. Her songs like Lose You, To Love Me, and Rare became powerful statements of independence and self-worth, while Justin's journals and interviews revealed a young man who was learning how to love himself again after years of pressure and mistakes. It was clear they had grown apart, but something in their connection continued to echo through their art and interviews. Fans couldn't help but wonder if the feelings ever really disappeared. And then Hailey Baldwin, now Hailey Bieber, entered Justin's life. Again, a figure from his past who had once been a friend and admirer, returning at a time when he was looking for stability, faith, and peace together. They built a new chapter rooted in spirituality and mutual growth, a marriage that became both a sanctuary and a test under the public eye. But still, the comparisons and conversations never stopped, because the world loves a story. And for fans of Justin and Selena, it felt like one that never quite had its ending. So when insiders claim that Justin sometimes still struggles to let go of that past, that he might subconsciously pit Hailey against his memories of Selena, it's not about drama, but about understanding human nature, about how even the most successful people wrestle with emotions they can't easily control. Love firsts, heartbreak, and nostalgia have a way of staying in the heart. And Justin's journey shows that no amount of fame or luxury shields you from the power of emotion. Yet beyond the headlines, there's something inspiring about how each of them chose to move forward. Justin pouring his soul into music like Purpose, Changes, and Justice, where he sings of love, redemption, and his faith in God. Selena building a legacy not just through her art, but also through her kindness, activism, and strength as a mental health advocate and producer. She's used her voice to lift others up, from launching the Rare Impact Fund to producing shows that shed light on important issues. Her evolution from a teen star to a respected humanitarian shows just how powerful transformation can be. And Hailey, too, has carved her identity beyond the title of Mrs. Bieber, building a thriving career in fashion and beauty. Her skincare brand Rhode has become a symbol of simplicity, confidence, and authenticity in an industry that often pressures people to be perfect. She's learned to embrace her individuality while standing strong through online criticism and public comparisons, showing grace and poise in the face of endless speculation. When you really think about it, these three figures represent different facets of what it means to live in the public eye. Justin the dreamer who found redemption through faith, Selena the survivor who turned pain into empowerment, and Hailey, the woman who chose love and inner peace over chaos together. Their intertwined stories paint a portrait of growth, forgiveness, and resilience. And that's what makes it all so fascinating, because in every photo, every song, every interview, there's a piece of truth that fans connect to deeply. Maybe Justin isn't holding on in the way rumors suggest. Maybe he's simply a man reflecting on his past, acknowledging the love that shaped him while cherishing the one that sustains him now. And maybe Selena's strength and grace are proof that letting go doesn't mean forgetting, but rather learning to love in a new way. And Hailey's presence is a reminder that sometimes the right love comes at the right time to heal what was once broken. But even as we talk about these stars, it's impossible not to see the bigger picture. The way celebrity culture mirrors our own emotions, how we project our hopes, fears, and desires onto the people we admire. Because whether it's Justin struggling with fame, Selena finding her voice, or Hailey defining her worth, we see parts of ourselves in them, the insecurities, the longing, the triumphs, and the growth. And that's why their stories endure. But let's not stop there, because in this ever-changing world of fame and artistry, countless other stars from across the globe have mirrored similar journeys of ambition and heartache, of beauty and resilience, from the glamorous streets of Hollywood to the vibrant stages of Seoul, London, and Mumbai. Each artist carries a story worth telling, just like Justin's music connects people across cultures. So does the universal language of hope that every artist brings to their craft. Take someone like Ariana Grande, another powerhouse who rose from Nickelodeon fame to global superstardom. Her journey from playing Cat Valentine to becoming one of the most powerful voices in pop shows what dedication and authenticity can do. And even she has faced heartbreak, loss, and public pressure. Yet her strength shines through in every note she sings, much like Selena. Her music has evolved from bubblegum pop to deeply emotional ballads that tell her truth. Songs like Thank You Next and Positions reflect the kind of maturity that comes only through experience. And then there's Taylor Swift, whose storytelling magic has redefined what it means to be a modern musician with a career spanning country pop and indie folk. Taylor has turned her life lessons into lyrical masterpieces, inspiring millions to embrace their emotions without shame. She too has faced public scrutiny, relationships that played out in headlines, and moments of reinvention. Yet she continues to rise each time stronger, more self-aware, more iconic. And it's in these parallels that we see why celebrity stories captivate us. They are reflections of humanity amplified through fame. The struggles may be public, but the lessons are universal. And as we continue this emotional ride through the intertwined worlds of Justin, Selena, Hailey, and their peers, we're reminded that fame might magnify pain, but it also magnifies growth, love, and creativity. And that's what truly lasts beyond the charts and gossip columns. It's the legacy of resilience, the beauty of transformation, and the courage to be vulnerable even when the world is watching. As we move deeper into this journey of heart's fame and the unspoken emotions that linger behind the glittering lights, it becomes clear that stories like Justin Bieber and Selena Gomez are not isolated. They are part of a grander web where the human soul seeks meaning through art, connection, and love. And when you look closely, you see that almost every artist who reaches unimaginable heights faces the same quiet moments of reflection, wondering who they are beyond the stage. And that is perhaps why Justin's emotional evolution feels so real, because despite the rumors, the fame, and the chaos, he continues to use his voice not just to sing, but to heal. To remind his fans that faith, growth, and forgiveness can rebuild what fame once fractured. His album, Justice, reflected that energy, a bridge between the young pop icon of Baby and the mature, reflective artist who now uses his platform to spread kindness and awareness about social justice and love. And somewhere in those lyrics, in songs like Ghost and Peaches, fans find echoes of his past love and present peace. While Selena Gomez, through her journey, has also become a symbol of quiet power. Her documentary, My Mind and Me, peeled back the layers, showing a young woman who faced unimaginable pressure and yet found beauty in vulnerability. She taught her audience that strength is not in pretending to be unbreakable, but in allowing oneself to feel deeply and still choose to move forward. And maybe that's what makes the conversation about whether Justin has truly let go of Selena so compelling, because it's not really about celebrity gossip. It's about two souls who grew up together in the public eye, who became mirrors for millions of young people discovering love, heartbreak, and self-identity. And while Hailey Bieber has gracefully stood by Justin, showing what unconditional love and patience can look like, she too embodies her own narrative of self-discovery, standing tall in the fashion industry working with brands from Saint Laurent to Versace while building Rhode into a global skincare name that champions authenticity. She navigates the noise with poise, reminding everyone that behind every headline there's a human being simply trying to live her truth. And as these intertwined lives unfold, we see reflections in others around them, like Shawn Mendes, another Canadian sensation whose soft melodies and heartfelt lyrics made him the voice of a generation. He too has spoken openly about anxiety, fame, and love, showing fans that it's okay to not have everything figured out, and that vulnerability is not weakness but strength. Much like Justin, he faced the balancing act of growing under the spotlight, learning when to pause and breathe, when to chase art for healing, not validation. And in that same light, we find Camila Cabello, his former partner whose creativity and independence echo Selena's strength, showing how young artists redefine themselves after love. Her journey from fifth harmony to solo stardom shows courage as she continues to explore mental health, confidence, and empowerment. Through her art and beyond music, there are icons like Zendaya, who have shown that reinvention is a form of resilience. From Disney star to Emmy-winning actress and global fashion icon, she has mastered the delicate dance of staying authentic, while evolving gracefully every step of the way. She has become a role model for balance, showing that one can be both a powerhouse and a peaceful soul. And then there's Harry Styles, who, like Justin, transformed from boy band fame into an artist who defies expectations. His fashion, his lyrics, his persona, all radiate freedom and confidence. His journey reminds us that breaking boundaries can inspire millions to embrace who they are without apology. And maybe that's what ties all these stories together, the idea that fame is fleeting, but authenticity endures. And that's the energy we feel when we look back at Justin Bieber's transformation. Because the boy who once sang to the world about heartbreak now stands as a man advocating love through faith, positivity, and responsibility. His marriage with Hailey, though often dissected by the public, represents a quiet strength built on shared belief and mutual support. While Selena's glow as a woman who found herself again reminds fans that love doesn't have to end bitterly. Sometimes it evolves into gratitude and self-compassion, but the world keeps asking, can Justin truly let go? Or is part of him still holding on to the echoes of that first love? And maybe the truth lies somewhere in between, because human hearts are not switches. They are stories that evolve over time. Perhaps he has found peace, yet still carries appreciation for the one who helped shape his soul. And that's okay, because love, even when it ends, leaves lessons that become lifelong companions. And in many ways, Justin and Selena's narrative parallels other greats like Beyoncé and Jay-Z, whose journey, through trials, transparency, and triumph, turned them into symbols of strength. Their music Lemonade and 444 opened conversations about forgiveness and rebuilding trust, teaching fans that relationships are not defined by perfection, but by perseverance. And then there's Rihanna, whose reinvention from pop star to billionaire entrepreneur with Fenty Beauty and Savage X Fenty proves that creative spirit and authenticity can rewrite industries. She turned her hiatus from music into a movement empowering women of all shades to see themselves represented and appreciated. She stands as a symbol of self-worth and purpose, much like Selena does in her advocacy for mental health. Together, these women show that you can turn pain into purpose and purpose into legacy. And when we look globally, the message echoes through stars like BTS from South Korea, whose unity, artistry, and message of self-love have reshaped modern music. Their journey from underdogs to international icons embodies the very same themes that define Justin and Selena's evolution: vulnerability, hard work, and a sincere desire to connect with people on a human level. They remind us that fame without heart is empty, but when art carries honesty, it can heal generations, and it's that honesty that connects every story in this evolving narrative, from Justin's introspective music to Hailey's poise to to Selena's compassion, to the authenticity of artists worldwide, we see the same pulse beating underneath the glamour, the pulse of humanity striving to be understood and loved. And maybe that's why no matter how many years pass, the conversation about Justin and Selena never truly fades. Because their connection represents something more than celebrity romance. It's the reminder that growing up, falling in love, and learning to let go are universal experiences that even global stars cannot escape. And as fans watch from afar, they too find comfort in knowing that their own emotions, their own heartbreaks, and recoveries are mirrored in the lives of the people they admire. So when insiders whisper that Justin sometimes pits Hailey against his past, maybe it's not intentional. Maybe it's just the human mind comparing moments, memories, and emotions as we all do, searching for meaning between then and now, and that doesn't diminish his love for Hailey or his respect for Selena. It only highlights how memory and emotion coexist, how we are shaped by those who once knew us deeply, and how moving on doesn't erase the past. It transforms it into something new, and that's the beauty of life. Growth and love. It never really ends. It just keeps changing form. And speaking of transformation, we can't ignore the impact of other artists who've walked similar emotional paths, like Miley Cyrus, whose evolution from Disney's Hannah Montana to rock goddess embodies unapologetic reinvention. Her anthem Flowers resonated deeply because it celebrated independence after heartbreak, echoing the same empowerment found in Selena's work. Or think of Demi Lovato, whose honesty about recovery and self-acceptance inspired millions, showing that courage lies in telling your truth, even when it's hard. These stories collectively remind us that fame may magnify the noise, but the heart of every artist beats to the same rhythm of resilience and reflection. And as we move further into this emotional exploration, we begin to see how celebrity culture has become less about perfection and more about relatability. Fans today don't just want idols, they want connection. And that's what Justin, Selena, and Hailey all represent in their own ways. Three different souls navigating the same vast ocean of expectation and emotion, each finding light in their journey. And through them, we are reminded that love, even when complicated, is one of the most beautiful teachers of all. And as we drift further into this river of dreams, heartbreaks, comebacks, and shining lights, the idea of holding on and letting go takes on a universal meaning, because even though Justin Bieber and Selena Gomez seem to stand at the center of the story, their emotions mirror the feelings of countless stars and ordinary people who have loved, lost, and learned. And when we look across the landscape of fame, we see this pattern repeating like a melody that changes instruments but never loses its rhythm, and maybe that's why people remain endlessly fascinated by them. Because love in the world of fame is both magnified and misunderstood. Yet through the noise, these artists keep reminding us that the truest things in life are not the awards or the headlines, but the connections that shape us from within. And so as Justin continues to perform around the world, standing on stage with a smile that seems calmer and wiser than ever, you can sense that he's no longer chasing perfection. He's embracing peace, the kind that comes from accepting both joy and pain. His relationship with Hailey glows with that calm energy of two people who pray together, travel together, and grow together, while Selena's light continues to spread. Beyond music, into television, film, and activism, her voice soothing and strong as she encourages others to be gentle with themselves. And perhaps that is what real closure looks like. Not forgetting, but forgiving. Not erasing, but evolving and speaking. Of evolution, there are so many artists whose lives echo the same rhythm of reinvention and grace, like Lady Gaga, who turned her raw artistic eccentricity into a language of empowerment. Her journey from the fame monster to Chromatica has been a message of healing through art and acceptance. She reminded the world that even when misunderstood, staying true to your heart can change everything. And similar to her, we see artists like Adele, who poured her life story into her albums, each one a diary of love and loss. She never hides her emotions, and that honesty has made her one of the most relatable voices of this generation. Much like Selena, she took breaks when life demanded it, choosing wellness over constant output, and returned stronger every time. And then there's Billie Eilish, whose creative courage and vulnerability at such a young age redefine what modern artistry looks like, showing that being authentic, even in a world obsessed with appearances, is the real mark of power. Each of these artists, in their own way, teaches the same lesson that Justin and Selena's story illustrates, that sometimes the hardest part of growing up is learning to love yourself enough to let go of what you cannot control, yet also to hold gratitude for what shaped you. And when we expand our view beyond Hollywood, We find artists from every corner of the globe carrying the same torch like Blackpink, representing strength and unity while redefining the meaning of global pop. Their success mirrors the dedication and grace that it takes to thrive in a competitive world. And their connection with fans feels as heartfelt as the bond Justin has with his believers. Or Selena with her Selenators. There's an invisible thread between stars and their audiences built on shared emotion that transcends language and borders. And perhaps that's why Justin's journey resonates from Canada to Korea to Latin America, where artists like Shakira and Maluma continue to break barriers, blending music with purpose. Shakira's philanthropy, her education initiatives, her courage to speak up for children and communities in need prove that fame can be a force for good, while Maluma's evolution from urban hits to soulful ballads shows maturity and gratitude, both of them. Much like Justin and Selena use their voices to inspire love and cultural pride. And as we follow these stories, it's hard not to think about how love itself becomes art. Sometimes in songs, sometimes in silence, because even when artists don't speak directly, their fans can feel the emotion behind every lyric and every glance. When Justin performed songs like Anyone or Lonely, it wasn't just performance, it was confession. It was a man opening his heart before millions, showing that even at the top of the world, he's still human, still searching for peace. And that's what makes this generation of artists so special. They are unafraid to show vulnerability. They break the illusion of perfection that once surrounded celebrity, and by doing so, they give permission for others to do the same. And Hailey, too, in her quiet, graceful way, represents that shift. She has spoken openly about faith, mental health, and the reality of living. In the spotlight, her interviews reveal not bitterness, but understanding, a desire to live with love despite judgment. And that's something truly admirable, because in an era where comparison is constant, she chooses compassion and dignity. And when you think about it, that is the very energy that binds her to Justin, because love is not about erasing the past, it's about choosing the present every day, and that's what their relationship stands for. Meanwhile, Selena continues to inspire countless people with her honesty about lupus anxiety and the courage to speak openly about therapy and balance. She has become an icon of emotional intelligence, showing that beauty is not about perfection, but about being real and kind, and in that truth, she joins the ranks of other influential figures like Angelina Jolie, who turned personal pain into humanitarian work, dedicating her life to refugees and human rights. Or Keanu Reeves, whose humility and kindness in an industry full of ego have made him a beloved symbol of grace. Both have shown that fame doesn't have to harden the heart, it can soften it. And that's something we see mirrored in so many stories of redemption, from Robert Downey Jr.'s comeback as Iron Man proving that second chances can change the world, to Jennifer Lopez's reinvention as a performer and businesswoman, showing that resilience and self-belief can keep dreams alive at any age. And somewhere between all these triumphs and transformations lies a simple truth that love, fame, success, and heartbreak are all threads of the same tapestry, and that maybe when people say Justin can't let go of Selena, what they really mean is that no one truly lets go of the moments that defined their becoming. We carry them like pages in a book that we keep on the shelf of memory, not to reread in regret, but to remember how far we've come. And as time passes, fans too evolve. Their perspective changes from wanting fairy tale endings to appreciating growth, healing, and authenticity. The new generation of listeners admire their idols, not for perfection, but for honesty, for showing up as themselves through the storms and sunlight alike. And when Justin stands beside Hailey smiling with gratitude, when Selena sings about loving herself, when stars like Taylor, Ariana, and Beyoncé share their own stories of empowerment, it all creates a collective message that love in all its forms is worth it, even when it changes shape. And that is perhaps the most powerful thing art can teach, that the heart can break and still beat stronger afterward. And so we continue flowing through this world of glitter and truth, where the stage lights fade, but the emotional echoes remain the same, just as they do in the quiet corners of our own lives, reminding us that letting go isn't losing, it's learning. And as the story continues to ripple through the timelines of fame and emotion, the world keeps turning while the artists we love continue to evolve, creating soundtracks to our own lives. Because in every Justin Bieber lyric, in every Selena Gomez reflection, in every Hailey Bieber interview, there's a piece of truth that speaks to us about growth, grace, and gratitude. And it's beautiful to see how this once teenage love triangle that fascinated millions has now transformed into something much deeper. a meditation on how love shapes identity, how fame tests the soul, and how self-discovery can heal even the most public wounds. And in that journey, we find countless reflections from other stars whose paths have shimmered with the same balance of light and shadow, like The Weeknd, whose evolution from mysterious underground artist to global icon mirrors a similar emotional trajectory. His music often exploring themes of love loss and spiritual searching, much like Justin's, and interestingly, his connection to Selena Once Upon a Time adds another layer to this web of intertwined souls, showing how sometimes people cross paths, not to stay forever, but to teach lessons that ripple through their art. And while fans analyze lyrics and looks, these artists quietly move forward, chasing peace rather than validation. And that shift from chaos to calm seems to define this new generation of fame, where authenticity triumphs over image and that authenticity shines bright. In stars like Dua Lipa, who with her blend of confidence and artistry continues to inspire independence through rhythm and reinvention. Her journey reminds us that success doesn't happen overnight. It grows with courage, patience, and a sense of self-worth, much like Hailey building her brand step by step with heart and humility. And across the world, other artists mirror that energy, like Bad Bunny, who broke boundaries with his fearless individuality, or Burna Boy, whose Afrofusion sound carries messages of pride and unity, both showing that true artistry is not about fitting in, but standing out with purpose. And that same purpose radiates through Justin's commitment to faith and community, whether through his music donations or open conversations about anxiety and mental wellness. He shows fans that being vulnerable is not weakness, but a bridge to connection, and his openness seems to inspire those around him. Hailey standing beside him with grace, fans finding courage to share their own stories, and Selena too continuing to use her platform for good, producing powerful shows, supporting therapy access for youth, and always reminding her audience that self-love is not selfish but sacred. And when you listen closely to how these artists talk, now you hear a calm that comes only from experience, a sense of peace after storms that once seemed endless, and that peace is contagious, spreading from them to their fans across social media and beyond, because art has that power. It turns pain into poetry and struggle into strength. And speaking of strength, few journeys shine brighter than that of artists like Beyoncé, who through decades of consistency and evolution continues to redefine empowerment, her renaissance era celebrates freedom, joy, and unapologetic self-expression, showing that reinvention is a lifelong dance, and that joy itself can be a revolution. And from her, we move to someone like Ed Sheeran, whose story from busking on the streets to filling stadiums shows that kindness and humility are not obstacles to success, but the foundation of lasting legacy. His songs of love, heartbreak, and friendship capture the essence of what it means to be human in a fast-changing world. His friendship with artists like Taylor Swift and his quiet philanthropic efforts mirror the same sincerity we see in Justin's evolution, both men using their platforms to give rather than just to gain. And this pattern continues around the globe, artists turning fame into fuel for positive change, from the humanitarian efforts of Coldplay and Billie Eilish to the cultural bridges built by global acts like Stray Kids or Rosalia, each one adding their color to the universal mural of creativity and emotion. And maybe that's what keeps fans so invested in the narrative of Justin and Selena and Hailey, because it's not just about who loved whom, it's about how love transforms people, how it can start as romance and end as respect, how it can turn heartbreak into hope, and in that sense, they've all become symbols of different chapters of the same story. Justin, the chapter of forgiveness; Selena, the chapter of healing; Hailey, the chapter of peace. Each one vital, each one human. And through them, we remember that closure doesn't always come through words. Sometimes it comes through actions, through art, through living authentically. And that is perhaps why, no matter how many new stars rise, the essence of their intertwined tale will always remain timeless, like a gentle echo of young love that matured into wisdom. And when you look at Justin today, standing before thousands singing songs filled with faith and gratitude, you can feel that he has indeed found a new rhythm in that balances the lessons of the past with the blessings of the present. And Selena, too, continues to shine in her own quiet radiance, producing shows that matter, using her influence for impact, launching Rare Beauty with a mission bigger than makeup, reminding the world that kindness can be revolutionary, and Hailey by his side, steady and supportive, reminding everyone that love can exist in the spotlight without losing its soul together. Their lives form a constellation of stories about redemption, resilience, and renewal, And those same themes stretch far and wide across entertainment, from actors who found new beginnings to musicians who reinvented themselves. Time and again, think of Britney Spears finally reclaiming her voice after years of silence, or Taylor Swift rewriting the rules of ownership by re-recording her own work. Both women embody courage in its purest form, and their strength adds new meaning to what it means to let go of the past while building a better future. And as this river of fame flows, it connects to filmmakers, athletes, and creators from every walk of life, all finding balance between public expectation and private truth, reminding us that at the end of the day, fame is fleeting, but legacy is lasting. And legacy is built on love for the craft, love for people, love for the journey itself. And that's what makes this ongoing narrative of Justin, Selena, and Hailey feel so profound, because behind every rumor, every song, every heartfelt post, lies the universal longing to be seen, understood, and loved, just like anyone else. And maybe that's why even today, when insiders claim Justin can't let go of Selena, what they're really noticing is that deep human nostalgia that everyone carries, that wish to honor the past while embracing the now. It's not about drama, it's about memory and meaning. And in that light, it becomes not a scandal, but a symphony. If you love celebrity stories, Hollywood news, inspirational journeys, and behind-the-scenes moments that feel personal, hit like, comment, and subscribe to stay connected with more positive and emotional celebrity documentaries.